Well, welcome, whether you're watching the recording or you're watching the live. Know that I encourage you to go ahead and engage in the chat for the live questions and comments. I'll spend some time at the end of the time today if there are some. But otherwise, I'll keep engaging with your questions as you watch the recording and chime in there too. I'm Tim Fortescue, an IFS trained practitioner specializing in spiritual growth and healing. And as those of you who are regular listeners or joining in here in this community, you know that I work with some who've experienced religious trauma and others that are just seeking guidance in life and maybe on their spiritual journey. And I'm here to support and be an ally however it makes sense. And so know that you're not alone. And hopefully these weekly lives are adding to your life just a bit. And you can find more about me on my website, faithfullygrowing.com. If IFS is new to you, I encourage you to check out a 3-minute video. Actually, it's less than 3 minutes that I did this week, just simply explaining the IFS process. And so you can find that here on YouTube. If you can't find it, head over to my website, faithfullygrowing.com, and click on the How I Work tab. And as always, like, share, subscribe, follow, whatever you can do here to help others access and find this content. And feel free to share it with others. And then one final promo before I get into our meditation and content. One of my primary passions of Faithfully Growing is to keep IFS accessible to all. And so I have a nonprofit aspect of my practice. And if you have the capacity to make a donation, you can do that, faithfullygrowing.com/donate. And every little bit helps. And if you're not able to make a donation, I'm glad you're here. Keep coming back and hope this is helpful for you. And so today I'm going to lead us in a meditation to check in with our parts that arise around broader community groups in a context. Maybe it's family or a church, a synagogue, temple, mosque, and relationships that you have there. Maybe it's a school or other civic groups that are in the community. And so I want you to be aware of that. And let me know your questions about IFS. I don't have any content that I'm going to talk about today, but really want to create content that is answering the questions that you have. So if you have questions, go ahead and type them in the chat, or you can always send me an email to tim@faithfullygrowing.com. But let's settle into the meditation. And like I said, I hope that this will help us connect with parts that arise around trailheads or triggers or ways that we may become activated when we're out in a larger group context. Maybe it's a family, church, community, school. Just keep those broader contexts in mind as we go throughout our time today. But let's begin the meditation. And just begin settling into where you are. You can sit or lie down. Sometimes it's helpful to have your legs uncrossed. You can close your eyes if you'd like to, but if that's weird or uncomfortable, just simply let your gaze rest softly in front of you and keep your eyes open. And take a couple of deep breaths as you continue to settle in. And do that at your own pace. And as you settle in, Just begin to notice your internal world and what's coming up. Those parts that we talk about. Maybe it's surfacing as a thought, feeling, action, impulse, belief. Let your system know, that internal family, that we're just going to be curious for a moment. No agenda other than to be curious. We're not trying to make anything happen or not. And some of these parts that you're noticing may have been a while since they have been seen or heard or witnessed. And we want to allow them to be seen and to see us for a bit if they'd like to. And it may be helpful to bring a specific situation, like when you're with your family, and just let your parts know that we're going to go through a couple different scenarios like this, and just see if they resonate with these scenarios. And if not, maybe there's something else in your mind. But think about family and family culture and dynamics for now and see what you notice. Which parts are arising around that? Maybe they're parts that have been frustrated or hurt, not seen by others. Let them know they're welcome. To this healing circle that we're creating here. Some may be more distrustful. Let them know that's okay too. They can participate as much or as little as they want. But invite them to come and have a voice if they'd like to. And check in to see how you're feeling toward these parts. And before that, maybe you're sensing them in or around your body that come up around family and family dynamics. See if you can extend just a drop of curiosity, compassion to these parts. I'm going to be quiet and just let you be with these parts for just a bit. Know that I encourage you to pause and go back and watch this recording and pause it as often as you need to. Just let your parts and system know that that's an option. But when it feels complete for now, just think those parts arising around family dynamics and culture. Thank them for their courage and share as much or as little as they did. Let them know this doesn't have to be the last time. You can spend more time with them if they'd like that. And they don't have to leave. They can hang around, see if they'd like to stay and witness some of the other areas that we're going to explore that may arise around broader community. So they can stay with us and be curious if they'd like to, or they can go play. Often these are younger parts. And just continue journeying in your mind and bring awareness to parts that may arise around where you work, or maybe where you go to school. And just be with these parts for a bit. See what they may want to share. Maybe they have questions. Maybe you have questions for them. Check in and see where you know that these parts around work and school, or maybe it's some other community, arise. See if you can notice them in or around your body. Maybe there's a sensation or a visual. See if you can extend them just a drop of a sense of wanting to connect, some curiosity, sense of wanting more clarity. And some of these parts may be more trusting than others, and there's no pressure again. Remind them of that. See how it lands. But also let them know you're here and spend a little more time with these parts. And if you need more time, remember you can go back and take all the time that you need. But when it feels complete for now, with that section of parts that arise around work or school, or maybe your mind is going to another group that's different from what I'm naming, that's okay too. And when it feels complete for now, thank those parts for as much or as little as they shared. And invite them to stick around or go do what they need to do and play or whatever makes sense, but they're welcome to stay in this healing circle and witness if they'd like to. And let them know this isn't the last time. You can spend more time with these parts too if they'd like that. And let those parts that may be saying, what about me? I'm not fitting in here. to any of this. Let them know that we're going to check in with one more subgroup that I'm going to suggest. Then we'll leave some space for those parts that may be searching for belonging. So move on when it feels right and see what parts, those little sub-personalities come to mind. Because our minds are multiple. And see what comes to mind when you think of a civic group. Maybe it's a church or a synagogue, a temple, a mosque. Maybe it's a community club. Just see what parts are arising around broader civic type groups. And let those parts know that you see them. See if they can see you. Check in and see where you're noticing them in or around your body. See if you could send them just a bit of curiosity, compassion. Creativity. And just spend some time. See what these parts may want to share, that you may want to share with them, that they may want to share with you. Maybe there's some fears or concerns, but just sit and notice for a bit. When it feels complete for now, just think those parts that arise around broader civic communities for as much or as little as they shared. And let them know this doesn't have to be the last time. You can spend more time with them too, if they'd like that. Because you need them. You need all these parts. They need you. You're a team. And let them know they can hang around too, or they can go on their way, but they're welcome to keep witnessing as we check in with one more group of parts before we wrap up. So let's move one more time in silence and spend some time with those parts that are saying, what about me? Where do I fit in? He's not naming me. Let's give them some space. And let those parts know that their questions are valid, that you see them. And check in and see how you're knowing that they're present and extend them some of that curiosity. Let them know you want to know them. They do belong. See if they have questions for you, if you have questions for them. Maybe you have parts that are distrustful or resistant, and let them know that they're valid too. And they can just soften back and witness if they'd like, or they can engage and have a voice. There's no pressure here. And just see what you noticed in the next little bit with these what about me? Where do I belong parts? when that feels complete for now, just thank those parts for their courage and as much or as little as they shared. And just like the others, this doesn't have to be the last time that they spend with you. May have been a while, but you see them now. And you can do this again if they'd like that. And then let your system know we're about to wrap up, but all of these parts can hang around this sort of a healing circle that we're developing here. And just look around and see the parts that are gathered here. They're all doing the best they can. They bring gifts. Maybe some are carrying heaviness and burdens. Maybe this is the first time that they can see the other parts and know that they're not alone, that they can see you. They don't have to carry things alone. There's hope. They've got you, you've got them. And as we close, just see if you can put out kind of ripple effects of just compassion to your whole system. Curiosity, sense of connectedness, calm. Throw in some other C words that may be helpful, or maybe it's words like peace and spaciousness and love. And see if your parts and system can take that in. And just thank your whole system again for its courage, for as much or as little as they were able to share all of these parts. And we'll see if we can take some of, hopefully, the spaciousness that we're feeling into the broader community and the world around us when we make it activated. So thanks so much to you and all your parts for joining me for this meditation. And take good care. And I'll hang around for just a bit. If you have questions or comments, whether you're watching live or the recording, I'll continue to engage with your questions. If IFS is new to you, I created a new video this week of 3 minutes of putting the model into simple terms. And so if you head over to my website, faithfullygrowing.com, and click on the How I Work tab, you can get access to that. But thank you so much. So grateful for this community. Join me next week, and reach out anytime if I can be of assistance. Send me an email, tim@faithfullygrowing.com. But thanks for your courage in joining me here, and take good care.